This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest daily Preakness report. Right now it's Friday, May 10th, and we're 8 days out from the Preakness. Let's get right into the Preakness news. Now, Kentucky Derby winner Mystik Dan, he was back to the track for the third straight day at Churchill Downs on Friday, and he had another easy gallop under his exercise rider, Robbie Alvarado. Now, Alvarado once again seemed pleased with the way Mystik Dan was moving, and he might do a bit more in his gallop on May 11th. So that Saturday gallop will help with the decision whether he runs in the Preakness or not. So after he gallops on Saturday, Ken McPeek says he will have a decision on whether he will run in the 2024 Preakness. Now the Preakness post-position draw will be Monday, May 13th, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and the race will be run Saturday, May 18th, and the scheduled post time 6:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Right now there's still a field of 10 possible for the Preakness Stakes as of May 10th. Mystik Dan's a possibility for trainer Ken McPeek. Brian Hernandez Jr. will be his rider if he runs in the Preakness. Now, D. Wayne Lukas has two horses, and they're both confirmed starters. Just Steel with Joel Rosario aboard, and Seize the Gray with Jamie Torres aboard. Just Steel finished 17th in the Kentucky Derby. Seize the Gray won the Grade 2 Pat Day Mile on the Kentucky Derby undercard in his last start. Now, Bob Baffert has two horses coming in from Santa Anita. Muth with Juan Hernandez aboard. He won the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby in his last start. He defeated Just Steel and Kentucky Derby winner Mystik Dan in that race. And then Imagination for Baffert. Frankie Dettori will ride. In his last start, he was second in the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby. Both of those horses worked earlier today, and I'll discuss those workouts in a few minutes. Uncle Heavy is going to run for trainer Robert Reed Jr., and Irad Ortiz Jr. has been named as his rider. Mugatu with Joe Bravo aboard for trainer Jeff Englar. He's a confirmed starter. He was 5th in the Bluegrass Stakes. He's a big late runner. Copper Tax, J.G. Torrey Alba is going to ride. He's possible for trainer Gary Capuano. Now, he worked on May 9th at Laurel Park, and I'll discuss that workout in a minute. And then Tuscan Gold is another one. Tyler Gaffleone, he's confirmed for trainer Chad Brown. He scratched out of the Peter Pan Stakes on May 11th to run in the Preakness Stakes. And then one more possibility, Catching Freedom for trainer Brad Cox. He was 4th in the Kentucky Derby. Flavien Prat will ride if he does run in the Preakness Stakes. And he did have an energetic gallop on May 10th. But all options are on the table for this one. He could run in the Preakness. He could skip the Preakness and run into Belmont. He could skip both of those races and use the Matt Winn Stakes as a Haskell prep. So they're going to make all of these decisions this weekend on exactly what they want to do next with Catching Freedom. Now we'll have a little bit of workout analysis, and we'll talk about Copper Tax. I mentioned that the local Hope did run. He's possible for running in the Preakness Stakes. Now, in his last two starts, he won both of those races, both at Laurel Park, the private term stakes at 1 mile and a 16th, and then the Federico Tessio Stakes at 1 mile and an 8th. That was a win and you're in for the Preakness, and now they're still deciding if they do want to run in the Preakness Stakes. Now, he worked 1 mile in 1:44 flat, best of 3 workouts at Laurel Park on May 9th. Now, that was a long work, but that's what they do. That's a typical move for him, because since October of 2023, Copper Tax has worked 1 mile a total of 9 times. So they do work him in 1 mile a lot. And he worked 1 mile before winning his last 2 starts, the private terms and the Tessio Stakes. So he has that same pattern prior to the Preakness. And he does seem to be maintaining his fitness. This is definitely going to be his toughest career test. Now, Muth and Imagination, they worked together on May 4th, and then again, they worked together on May 10th. Now, that May 4th workout, early on, Muth was on the inside, and Imagination was on the outside, and Muth had that early advantage in that May 4th workout. And they ended up going 6 furlongs in 1:11.40, so they shared the bullet best of 5. Now, for that workout, Muth was in hand. He looked really good, moving easy on the inside. And then you had Imagination. They were nudging him along to keep up with Muth. And Muth was definitely moving better of the two on May 4th. And then May 10th, again, they worked 6 furlongs together today. And again, just like the first work, Muth working on the inside, Imagination working on the outside. This time they went 6 furlongs in 1:11.80, best of 4. They shared the bullet here. Again, Muth was in hand throughout. Imagination was nudged along to keep up with him, especially when they were galloping out. So again, Muth was moving the better of the two. And I thought this was a little bit better than his May 4th workout as well, but they were both solid works. Now Muth, the Preakness will be his first start since winning the Arkansas Derby on March 30th. So his first start in 7 weeks, and he's worked 5 times since the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. And prior to his last 2 workouts in company with Imagination, he worked on April 12th in company with Recall and Reload. They went 4 furlongs and 48 flat, 11th best of 54. And for Muth, he was much the best in that workout. He galloped out far in front of his stablemate. And then on April 21st and April 28th, Muth worked in company with his stablemate Tour Player. 5 furlongs in a minute point 20 on April 21st, 5th best of 42. And then on April 28th, 6 furlongs in 112.40, 2nd best of 7. In both of those workouts, Muth worked on the outside, Tour Player was on the inside. And they kind of finished up close together at the end. Just 2 solid workouts. So the overall observation of Muth's 5 workouts since he won the Arkansas Derby, you can definitely tell in those last 2 6-furlong works in company with Imagination that Bob Baffert's really tightened the screws. He's got Muth working fast and ready to go. They were both serious workouts, and I thought Muth looked really good throughout in both of those. So he does seem to be coming up to the Preakness the right way. Good energy, high fitness level, and he's probably going to be the Preakness favorite, and there's no real knocks on him. He looks like a solid early pressing contender in the Preakness. Now, Imagination, Muth's stablemate, he's had 4 workouts since finishing 2nd in that Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby, and prior to working with Muth in his last 2 works, on April 21st, he worked 4 furlongs and 48. He worked outside of his stablemate, Well Funded. Now, Well Funded, a good magic 2-year-old, a good magic filly that's had 2 starts and 2 runner-up finishes. And Well Funded's a sprinter, and she has good speed, so they used her speed in this workout. And she had the head start, but Imagination cruised up to her, and he was much the best in that workout on April 21st. And then April 28th, 5 furlongs and 59.80, 4th best of 49, and he worked outside of his stablemate Canada Gate. And Canada Gate is a Constitution colt, and he's 0 for 2 lifetime. So Canada Gate was the one that showed the way early, and then you had another horse pop up on the outside of those 2 and push those 2 along. But then Imagination did cruise up on the outside, and he galloped out in front. He looked good. They were asking him to respond on the gallop out, and he did just that. So overall, looking at Imagination's workouts prior to the Preakness Stakes, he worked on the outside of his workmates in all 4 of his works, whereas Muth worked on the inside on 2 of those works. So for Imagination, it looks like that they want to get him towards the outside. So I think Frankie Dettori's goal is probably to get him into a good position, tracking the pace, early pressing speed, comfortably on the outside of horses. That seems to be what they want to do, because based on those workouts, he seemed comfortable, much more comfortable on the outside. And I've seen some of his races. If he gets towards the inside sometimes, he might want to take off a little bit earlier than they would like him to. I think they want to get him into a nice early pressing rhythm outside of horses in the Preakness Stakes. But he is going to have to elevate his game if he's going to compete with Muth and Mystik Dan. But Imagination is a horse that has a lot of ability. They paid a lot for him. He's very consistent. 2 wins, 4 seconds from 6 starts. Seems to be on the upswing. He's just going to have to kick his game up a notch to be able to win the Preakness Stakes. So those are the Preakness notes for Friday, May 10th. I'm going to be back tomorrow and every day before the Preakness with more Preakness notes. I'm going to be covering some live coverage from Pimlico next week for Preakness Week. I'm going to go out there and get some on-track coverage for the Preakness Stakes. And if you're interested in past performances for the Preakness and the Preakness full card, the whole card that day, you can find those past performances at todaysracingdigest.com. Preakness Week, you can read all of my Preakness articles at todaysracingdigest.com on their Preakness page. And then if you're interested in my full card analysis Preakness Day, you'll find that at todaysracingdigest.com or at my personal website, therunawayhorse.com, on my sales page. I'm going to be doing a full card for Black Eyed Susan Day, the day before Preakness Day full card as well on May 18th. And then for Belmont Stakes Week, the 4-day Belmont Stakes Festival at Saratoga, I'm going to do the full cards for all 4 days. So go on over to therunawayhorse.com on my sales page for more details on my Triple Crown Series full cards and my Santa Anita full cards. And then later this summer, I'm going to be doing full cards from Del Mar. So that'll wrap up this video. And again, I'll be back tomorrow with more Preakness coverage. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.